Hey guys, Tristan here from the CPAPstore.ca. Today we're looking at the brand new mask by F&P, the Nova Micro. Now this mask is their kind of answer to the P10. They might call it the P10 killer. We're gonna find out if it is the P10 killer. It is a minimalistic mask. It is a very good mask. That being said, I've only had 2 days to test it out. I'm launching this video on launch day. So if you are watching this on launch day, you can buy the mask at the CPAPstore.ca, but I'm saying that because I've only had this mask here for like 3 days that I'm filming this video. So I've only tested it for 2 days. So I haven't really had as much data, forums and stuff to look up different pain points of the mask. It's solely gonna be my first impressions using it and just having it for the last few days, okay? So keep that in mind. But I think I have this mask kind of figured out enough to give you guys a decent review. It's a very minimalistic mask. Fisher and Paykel are saying that it's less is best. This is their lightest weight mask, the smallest mask I think they've ever made, and it's tiny. So how does it stack up compared to the P10, and how does it stack up as a mask in general? First, let's look at it. So we have the headgear here. We have this divider here that splays out the back of the headgear right here, okay? It goes down on the side. We have 2 adjustment points on the side here. So unlike the P10, you have adjustments on the sides, 1 and 2, okay? Dual-sided, going to the front here. And as you can see, it's a very narrow front. It's a very narrow front cushion, which I do like because when you are sleeping on your side here, when you have a really wide thing, it's just more material to hit a pillow and push the mask to the side. Whereas when it's nice and narrow here, you can kind of roll quite far to the front without it even touching the pillow at all. So I like how it's narrow. This is a small cushion on the top, but even the medium, the large, this is the medium here. It's just a narrow design, okay? In the cushion, and then straight into the elephant trunk type little tube here. Now this tube is very nice because it has a swivel down here and it has a swivel right at the top here. So you probably can't see, it's hard to see on video. I don't know if there's any visual indicator on that, but it is swiveling here, which means you got 2 points of swivel, which is really, really nice. On other masks, for example, this is the P10. On minimalistic masks, they try to keep things light. They don't add things like a swivel. So you get a little bit of tension, as you can see, as I'm twisting this, a little bit of tension build up on the P10 here. This is the Evora by F&P, so as you can see, it doesn't have a swivel. As I'm twisting this, a little bit of tension is building up. So it's really nice to see that with such a minimal mask, they're able to put that front swivel on the front tube there. Now, how does it stack up compared to a P10? Well, you might look really similar, but I'm gonna tell you the differences. So starting from the base here, we already covered, P10 does not have a swivel. The F&P Micro does have a swivel. Going to the cushions is very different. We're gonna talk about that in a second. And then we have the headgear here. Now the headgear on the P10 has this adjustment. So as it gets looser over time, you can tighten it up because it just tends to wear down. You have to tighten it up. But the whole thing is this very soft knit, almost like very soft, like sock-like material or something like that, where there's no hard edges. It's completely soft all the way around, and it's all elastic all the way around. So the P10 just stretches just like that, and you don't have to have any adjustments at all with it. Now to make things a little bit different, the Nova here has the back stretch, okay? So it has the back stretch on the back, but the sides here doesn't have any stretch really at all here. And that's why they have the adjustment little Velcro here, so you can adjust it and make it a little more tighter or looser as you see fit. So you have 2 Velcro adjustment sides on the side there. Now, I'm not sure if this is a feature or a negative, to be honest. Like at one point of me, you know, they're of course advertising it as a feature, and I do think it is a feature because you can definitely dial it down, adjust those straps. It's really nice how they do pull down. You're not kind of doing this weird thing where you can't, you know, you don't know how to strap it. The straps, as you see when I put it on, pull down so you can tighten on the sides there. I do like that. So one part of me is saying the Micro has added features, but the other side of me is saying I like the simplicity of the P10. Like, it's just fully stretched all the way around. Why wouldn't you want that? You never asked for straps on your socks, so why would you want straps on a stretchy headgear? So for me personally, I haven't decided whether or not the dual adjustment is a pro or a con. What I do think is a con with the Micro, however, is that I feel that the P10 does have a little bit of a softer feel on the outside. Because it's that full stretch material, it's fully soft all the way around, whereas The Micro is very soft, especially on the back, and very stretchy, but on the side here where it's not stretchy, and because they have to have that structure for adding the Velcro and the, you know, the tightening and stuff like that, I feel like this is a little not as soft. It just, when you put it on, it doesn't really bother you at all when you're lying with it, but when you first put it on, it's very, very subtle, but the P10 feels a little softer, whereas this guy here feels a little more scratchy around your cheek, around your ear when you first put it on. Now let's talk about the cushion. So I can just peel off this cushion here and take off the cushion on the P10. And as you can see, the Micro is actually a little more micro than the P10. These are the two cushions side by side here. If you can see them, hopefully we can focus up a little bit here, but you can see that the pillows are smaller and the cushion itself is smaller, and the P10 is a little harder on the outside because it has this plastic rim, whereas the Micro is completely soft and squishy. In terms of application, when you are wearing the mask with pressure, I personally feel that the Micro is a better pillow for me. I think that instead of having the pressure solely kind of on the inner nostril like you do with a P10, I feel that it does distribute kind of the pressure around almost the outside of the nostril while going into it, but you don't really feel it inside. It almost feels like a hybrid of a cradle and a pillow, if I'm honest. And I think it takes the best of both worlds from cradle pillow, and it does feel quite comfortable in the nose. One thing that I did note though is that these guys here do invert a little bit. They call them anti-aversion pillows, but I did have an issue with that when I first put the mask on. However, what is recommended is that you are fitting the mask with pressure. So typically you would want to put the mask on like that, run the pressure, then make sure your pillows are good and slowly insert them into your nose. And then at that point, I never had problems with them inverting. Just make sure that you do that instead of just putting this on, turning on the pressure, because you might not notice if one of these pillows are slightly inverted, okay? Now that's it for the part by part breakdown here. Overall, they are so similar, these two masks. They're both so tiny, both so lightweight that it's hard to pick which one you like better. I think it's gonna come down to personal preference. They're both lightweight masks. The Micro is a little bit smaller, or I guess lighter. They say that it's 40 grams, but when I weighed it, it's 34 grams, so quite a bit less, 34 grams, whereas the P10 is 46 grams when I weighed it. So the Micro is a little bit lighter there, but honestly on face, the 10 grams, it's very hard to say if I really feel a difference between that. It's not like you're going from this to like a full face, but on paper at least, the Micro is definitely lighter. So let's put these guys on and see how we feel. So right off the rip, something I want to show you is just how easy it is to adjust. Pull it down, not too tight, okay? And it fits very comfortable. There's nothing really touching the ear there once it's in place. Again, not quite as soft as this headgear, but once it's on the face, super comfortable, super lightweight. It just feels really nice. I definitely like the pillows on the Micro better than the P10 for me personally. I don't know if that's because I have such a soft and squishy nose that kind of cradling my nose is more comfortable to me. Another thing to note that I forgot to mention is exhaling. I do find that exhaling on the Micro is significantly easier than the P10. There is larger holes for diffusion. So if you are someone who's starting CPAP and is struggling to breathe out against that pressure, if you're choosing between the two masks, I would definitely feel like get the Micro, turn some EPR on, and it's definitely very comfortable, definitely easy to exhale out of. That being said, one of the reasons why it's so easy to exhale out of is because those holes are a little bit bigger, it shoots a little more air when it's going. So if you do have a partner, they might feel a little more wind at night, or it might kind of have a little more wind in your face, which can contribute to, I guess, more dry eyes, but you have to pick your battle. Do you want something easier, more comfortable to exhale out of and a little more wind? Or do you want a more hardcore diffuser, very little wind and a little harder to exhale? If I turn this on, I'm going to turn this on to a pressure of 15. Let this run for a second. Very easy to exhale. But you do feel a little bit of wind kind of out here, like 6 inches maybe. And as you can see, it's just so narrow on the nose. It's so narrow on the nose that if my face is, you know, really on the pillow, like it's just so narrow. It's not really touching the pillow, not really interfering in terms of width. So that is something really nice. Now let me put on the P10 here. Okay, I have the P10. It's a little harder to talk. Not as much wind. Whereas the Micro is about 6 inches, but it is a little bit trickier to kind of exhale. You have to be more of a CPAP veteran to build that kind of ability to exhale against the pressure. In terms of the cushion, I definitely feel like the pillows are very robust. However, you do kind of feel like it's a little bit chunkier up front here. And, you know, you definitely feel it a little bit more. I think if I had a pillow, it's a little bit wider, so you definitely feel it a little bit more if you're really cramming your head into the pillow. But honestly, both of these masks, if you are a roller around sleeper, I would go with the top mounted mask with like a tube hook. I think that's gonna give you the best sleep if you are a roller around. But if you're on your back, both of these masks, very minimal, and it's hard to pick a winner. So to recap here, both masks are very good. Both masks are extremely lightweight. I like the tube on the Micro better. I like how it has 2 swivels. I like the exhalation ports better. It's a lot easier to exhale. And I like the cushion better. It's nice and comfortable around the nose. Overall, it's a great lightweight mask, and I definitely think you should check it out. The P10, on the other hand, the tube doesn't have the swivel, so I guess -1 point for that. The diffuser, a little stronger, so you don't have that wind. Better for your partner, but a little harder to exhale. The pillows itself, tried and true. A lot of people love them. I think my nose is more geared towards the Micro, but to each their own. I think they are very robust. And then the headgear itself, no adjustment points on the side. So if you want the extra adjustment, Micro is better. However, it's very soft and has fully stretched. So that in and of itself, not having to adjust anything ever, having the full stretch throughout the entirety of the headgear is a pro there. So it's very hard to pick a winner. Tell us in the comments which ones you prefer, and see you guys next time.